Hey, bros, welcome to Just Us Bros podcast. And within the last couple of weeks, we went to GalaxyCon in Raleigh. And last week, yeah, we one of us went to Big Lit Comic Con. So we're going to talk about, what did I call it the wrong name? Okay.
No, that's what Tech Nine does. Cha, cha.
Oh, so, yeah, I didn't know that. But anyway, we were going to talk to you about our con experience and just some of the conventions and what you really expect going into one. What did you guys think of GalaxyCon in Raleigh a couple weeks ago?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think I've been to a GalaxyCon where actually any con really that I haven't enjoyed. Um, I remember what was the first time I went to GalaxyCon? It was called SuperCon, right? In like 2017
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe it was 2018. I can't remember. I think it was 2018.
or somewhere around there. But anywho, going back to last weekend, stuff I dressed up as the tactical Super Mario, the Keaton Batman, and the Pattinson Batman at the emo party. Shout out to Get Sad Y'all for sharing our video, or pretty much most of our video for that. Um, got mostly positive reviews for all of those costumes, so I was pretty thrilled.
Uh, GL, how did you enjoy GalaxyCon in Raleigh? How did you enjoy the city of Raleigh?
The city was great. The weather was a little rough on us. Uh, the
Well,
con was
especially
great.
dressing up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hun-
it was
hun-
hot. Yeah,
I think it was technically 99 degrees, but a heat index of like 106. So do that in full spandex and you sweat really, really quick. But no, the con was great. Even though it was hot outside, it felt cool on the inside. They had the AC going full blast, so that was nice. Got to see a lot of cool costumes. Got to dress up as a couple different things, and it was good. I think I read that, which I think it was more than this, but I think I read 50,000 people attended over the course of the weekend, but I
yeah,
think it was way more than that.
yeah.
Especially on
Well,
Saturday. Man, geez.
yeah, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I couldn't join you guys Friday, so I had to drive down Friday night and spend Saturday with us. Got to go Saturday. Uh,
Yeah, because somebody had to work.
I need money to go to conventions. But I mean, I still got there. I, yeah, I love eating, so I got to meet up with you guys, eat it. What was the name of that place?
Capital 16. Shout out
Capital Six.
Capital 16.
I was gonna
Capital
say I
Six.
don't remember.
Yeah. But we
Well, yeah,
got
by
got
that
some.
time, Seth
Catch me
or
outside. How
Green
about
Lantern and I
that?
had partied hardy by what time we started eating? 8:30?
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
were eating. Yeah.
What time we start drinking? Probably like 11.
I think like it's 6, but we did a whole day's worth in that little bit of time.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Yeah, Saturday.
yeah, and this was Bat Drew was saying, this wasn't our first convention down in Raleigh. We went last year, but it did feel bigger than the years past. But maybe it was because I think one thing that on our radar was this was the first chance in however many years that we got to the chance to see Grant Gustin in person, even though it was only one day. So that was a big drawing factor for us. But I know you guys had cosplays. I didn't. Um, I don't know why I didn't. I just was too busy. But I just wore my Just a Bro shirt to try to spread the word. Please like, comment, and share. And actually, guys,
Stand
we have
up
a
and
team.
show us.
I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing a different shirt though, or a Broha one, which
Abraha.
a
What's the
Broha.
back of it look like?
The back of it looks like that. And guys, all of our tees are on Teepublic. So if you buy one, it helps support the bros, and we really appreciate that. Plus, who doesn't want a shirt that says "Just a Bro" on it? But
Yeah.
and
Tees, magnets, stickers. What else can you do? Mugs.
oh, and
Um,
You
if
can
you like
get
to,
full full decals for your car.
yeah, and let's say that you want to get one for your girlfriend. I have one, or we made one that says "Just a Barbie" on it. So we got two of those.
Or
actually,
for
I
the bros
ordered
that like
just a
Barbie.
Barbie shirt.
That's right. That's right. But the funny thing was with the Just a Bro shirt, we went and we met Joe McHale, who I didn't really watch Community, but we pulled out some karaoke mics.
You didn't watch Community?
I didn't watch
That's
all
that's
of
a whole nother
Community.
podcast we got to kill you on.
Oh my God.
Um, but so we handed him the
Season
mic,
of the movie.
and he started to like sing along with us, but we don't want to say what he was singing to get anybody in trouble or anything. But
But but it was the wrong song.
it was, yeah. But the funny thing was
But
we
we all
had
had the right feeling for it.
Yeah, Bat Drew was dressed up like Mario. He's like, "Oh, awesome!" And GL's dressed up like Omni Man, and then I'm wearing the Just a Bro shirt. He goes, "You have the worst cosplay of the group." So I thought that was kind of funny. But he was very humble and a very nice guy. He kept bowing at us. And I know when he took a selfie video, and GL, what did you say that kind of cracked him up a little bit?
Oh, I just went. I got in a character for the dean of the show. And just went, and
Yeah,
he
and in
started
the
cracking.
video when we played it back, he started to try to be like, "Heck," oh, but yeah, he gave us as much as he could, and I appreciate that.
And one thing that I was actually talking to a coworker about today was we had the concern about the SAG-AFTRA strike and how that was going to affect our time there. But as soon as that we went into the convention, I don't feel like it didn't feel different at all. Like no one really talked about past or struck projects or whatever they were. It just felt normal, like no looming
Well,
Yeah.
over.
so that's a whole other thing we can talk about. But the panels, we didn't go to any of the panels. I feel like it
I
probably
didn't
would
get
have
a
been
chance to.
more things talked about that.
Yeah, but I didn't hear anybody say, "Well, oh, I wanted to ask about this, but I couldn't." Like people were just there having a fun time. We saw some great costumes too, but I didn't hear anybody complaining about, "Look, I want to talk to Shatner about Star Trek or anything like that." I saw
Because
one guy
I think the one thing about these conventions, I think it's really like you're stepping out of the real world and getting into this. I'm not going to say fantasy world, but like you're going somewhere where everyone's like-minded and same interests, and you go to these things to escape like your problems. Like there's still some people that talk to me like, "Aren't you a little bit too old to be going to these comic convention things? Like that's like kid stuff." I'm like, go to one, man. It's not for kids, and not just for kids, but it is for kids. It's for everyone.
yeah,
And
and
Yeah,
yeah,
see
because I
us
think
as a
yeah,
as teenagers, we couldn't afford to go to that kind of stuff because we didn't have jobs, and it does cost money.
well, one thing that I'll going back to the convention, I know Badger, you touched on it. We went to that Get Sad Y'all party. Like we all had costumes. It was a fun weekend. If you guys want to check out our video on day one and day two, or Saturday and Sunday, go check that out on our YouTube channel. But a lot of loud music, a lot of it was more for adults. You had the adult beverages and things. Probably wouldn't have the kids there, but that was fun for us too. It felt like everything at the convention had it was family friendly. Like you could take your kids here. You might not want to take them there, but it was for everybody. And again, shout out to Get Sad Y'all for sharing our video and sort of showing the excitement for the night on that. But the after party, did you guys have fun or do you remember it?
from what I remember, yeah, it was pretty fun. I
I had
remember
a
that
great
somebody
time.
partied so hard that they lost the sole of their shoe. Like the sole, like literally came off of their shoe. I was like, he was like, the entire place was like, how this happened? But that's so cool.
My favorite part is where we were standing, like we were right by the mosh pit, but not quite in the mosh pit. That's a whole different feel. But yes, there was a mosh pit at this party in GalaxyCon, so Nerds Mosh. But my favorite thing was Evanescence song had just started, and I look over to my right, and Michael Myers is just standing there, like totally in character. That's my favorite memory of the party.
And I know when Get Sad Y'all shared our video, they said something like somebody like their knee gave out and like because I remember there was one part, hey, give them space, give them space. That person walked away, but was like, no, I don't need crutches, I don't need a wheelchair. I'm still here to party, which is pretty badass for that person if they're if they're out there. But um, yeah, Raleigh was a safe city. We got pizza afterwards. I know the next
We walked
day.
and scootered.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
I
scooter.
was about to say there if there was one thing that any of us did not like about Raleigh, I think it's Drew over here did not like anything about those Lime scooters.
I didn't mind that. I didn't like the people like I'm driving down and someone's just like about to hit me with their car. So that's what I didn't like about the Lime scooters, where someone was about to hit me, but that wasn't
I
on
just
mine or
remember,
me.
I just remember seeing you.
I, I also have terrible
Not
balance.
even
So
exaggerating that either. That's what's great about that.
I've never ridden one. I'm sorry I wasn't perfect the first time. Um,
That's what she said.
you know, no. So, but actually, leading into that on Sunday, after we got breakfast and you guys put in your costumes, we got to have a little fun with some Lime scooters for a nice little photo video shoot, didn't we? Mr. Bat Drew.
Yeah, I kind of wish that it caught more of my cape in the wind, but I think I probably would have had to go like 2 blocks or something because that was a nice cape, but it was heavy. That was like
Yeah,
an extra probably 10, 15 pounds that I was carrying. It felt like on my back.
yeah. And I was during that photo shoot or video session, whatever. I was real proud of that one shot I got of UGL where I'm like panning and you're doing the pose to run. I thought that looked really good.
It was pretty flashy.
It was pretty flashy.
Ah,
And we got to meet Grant Gustin, which was like what 15, 20 seconds at most. Um,
Yeah.
and he
for
walked up
you,
and
maybe it felt like 5 minutes for me. Like I held an entire conversation with him in my head.
yeah. Speaking of which, how'd that conversation go? Because I know it was like boom, boom, boom.
Well, I can remember when we got to him in line, you said something about what did you say something about Go Hokies or something? And he was like,
I
"Oh,
said,
Virginia Tech, you notice your hat first?"
I know. I said, hey, greetings from Virginia Beach because Grant Gustin's from Virginia Beach.
Oh yeah,
And then
he is a local VA boy.
Mhm.
And then
And then in the picture, I did this with my cape, and it came out, and he's like in his peripherals, he's like, "Oh man, that is so cool," and I'm like, "You're so cool." It's like I try to make a coherent sentence, and what comes out is just, "Yeah."
that's kind of how I felt when I walked up. He said, "What's up, Flash?" And I'm like, "But you're the Flash."
Yeah. And then he just looked at me and said, Virginia Tech. Okay. So it was fun. But I do have to I was actually tasked this weekend to find the worst cosplay and get a photo of it. Little did I know that I think we had it. And by that, the failed blue beetle.
That was pretty bad.
Hey, the helmet
So
looked
we
good.
didn't take that out in public, though, did we?
No, but it's in our video. It's in the first video.
But
Okay.
I just went to the gym too much. I got too much of this pump.
You were molting. You were molting, but yeah. And but with Raleigh though, it was a little bit more of an expensive con. Like you had people from all over driving in, getting hotels. I think our 3 day pass was what $130 after taxes. Uh, somewhere along those lines. If you didn't use a promo code or something, right? And one that was more like economically friendly and more for the family was the next weekend in Roanoke at Big Lick, and we've been to Big Lick a good amount. What's your guys' opinion on
We've
Big Lick Comic Con?
we've been there since it started.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
since it started. And every year it has grown, and every year I've been thoroughly impressed with how it's
yeah.
gaining, I guess, momentum and the guests that they get. Sometimes you wouldn't even think for our little area down here, like we're gonna get somebody like, oh,
Sean
who was
Astin,
there? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like he was there.
Tom,
Like Sean Astin actually got to
Tommy. Yeah,
do he did a screening of the Goonies at the Grand Inn Theater downtown in Roanoke, and like you get to watch the movie with a guy from the movie. Like how many people can say that? I'm like, holy shnikes, man, this is pretty
yeah.
cool.
And they've had guests like Jason David. Not, yeah, was it Jason David Frank? Yeah, Jason David Frank, original Green Power Rangers. David Yost this past go around. I think the first year they had Sean Gunn. Was that the first year, or was it like the
James,
second?
no, yeah, Sean,
No,
yeah,
Sean
yeah, it was
Sean
Sean
was
there.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
was
they
like the first or second one.
yeah, and they had Carrie Payton that I remember. Like they have one or two like well-known guests, another like artists. I know they had Denny O'Neil, like a famous comic book artist. So they're getting good guests, you know. Like for example, Raleigh has a lot because you're paying a lot to get to these conventions, but this is Big Lick is more of an economic friendly, family friendly. It's a little bit easier on the wallet, and you can still go meet some pretty cool people. Carrie Payton, voice of Cyborg, you know, what's his name in Walking Dead? King is that
King Ezekiel from Walking Dead, which
yeah,
I
King.
actually right
Lad.
here got that picture of me with him, and yeah, because I was in the cosplay as Father Gabriel, which both of them were pretty pivotal parts of that show.
Yeah.
And then
So
also Big Lick also has a thing in Nova they do, the Big Lick Comic Con Nova, which is I think right now it's once a year, but Big Lick the one in Roanoke, that's 2 times a year, spring and fall one.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, because
And typically at the cons too, they have a good variety of different vendors. And for Big Lick being on a scale smaller than Raleigh, Big Lick has a good size of vendors, and a good like any genre, any kind of thing you're looking for, crafts, arts, merchant, toys. I mean, they got a good variety.
And credit to JD and Big Lit Comics because they've grown really quick and they're getting
They
really
have.
good guests. So I know I was gonna say I worked in Roanoke and the first couple times I got to go over there as a TV cameraman. I actually interviewed Bat Drew one time just because it's like, hey, I need to get a quick soundbite. So and I got to see Sean Astin and just seeing it grow over the years is definitely an awesome thing for the Roanoke area because you're the bigger you get, the more footprint you can get. Because we had people coming from Buena Vista, Harrisonburg, some people Richmond, some people down as far as Charlotte were coming up to go to it.
I was just gonna say, I'm hoping that he continues to grow at JD and the Big League team, and I'm hoping one day that we're talking about 50,000 people being at this one in Roanoke, and talking about like your
Yeah.
Stephen Amell's and whoever the hot person is at the time. Yes, Stephen Amell's hot, but
It could
being in
be us.
Roanoke, it
We
could be
By the
us.
way, Steve, go ahead and come to Big Lick next year, 2024. We'll welcome you with open arms.
Come to the Star City.
Yes, you need to come to the Star City for reasons.
Are you
The Drew
frozen, or are
Freeze,
you just looking at us condescendingly?
he
Can
never
you do a
freezes.
screenshot of that? Thanks for
Yeah.
joining us. Nice to have you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I thought y'all's power went out, but I saw both of you were gone. I'm like, it might be me then.
Well, you're gonna love that in the video.
I bet I will.
This weekend at Big Lick was a little different for me. Instead of being an attendee, I was kind of a volunteer employee this time because with the bank they let us or their sponsor, so we volunteered at the bank this time or at the convention. And yeah, we were as people were coming in because we were wristbanding them and whatnot. I think I heard like somebody said they actually came from like Ohio to this one. I was like, that's pretty far, but that's pretty cool that you wanted to come all that way just for a little old convention down here.
That's pretty far,
And
don't
there's
you know?
actually two people I think from West Virginia too, but they were together. But yeah, but there's a connection that from GalaxyCon and Big Lick. Shout out to Two Land Comics. They've been at both. They're really stretching their brand out too. They're putting in the work they need to put in to get big. Like I said, shout out Two Land Comics, shout out Drip. They're doing
It
some
looks
pretty cool
pretty
stuff
cool.
there.
I hope they get the comic made into a TV show because it looks like it could be pretty cool.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had
I think
some
they're on the verge.
animation. Yeah, they had some animation that
Yeah.
they were showing it. It was looking pretty good. But we've been to a lot of conventions. Starting in 2014, our first one was it was called the Roanoke Comic Con, held at the same place as Big Lick, but they're no longer there. It was it was $5 to get in, I think something cheap like that. But we've been to many different sizes, and I feel like there's a tiered system, and we've never not had a good time at a convention. Every convention we went to has been good. I think we did
Yeah.
that.
Even
Then we went.
I remember
we
that one that they did in Clifton Forge that one time.
Oh yeah,
The Con of the Mountain. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Con of the Mountain, yeah. That
That
was
was
great
fun. I
while it
got to talk
lasted.
to I got to talk to that guy that had the Sasquatch General comic or something, or what that was. I can't remember what it was, but that was pretty cool. And actually, for our really honestly for our convention starting stuff, we started out. We went big. We went to Dragon Con in 2015, and
yeah,
man, I tell you what, that weekend we were in heaven.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
was great.
Because we went from like the $5 Roanoke Comic Con, which is fun. And I was like, oh, where's the next one at? It's October, and like I remember GL was like, there's one in Charlotte for $5. Let's do that. And so we went down, and I remember the Flash came out. And we talked about the first season of the Flash the whole way, and then it was like, wow, $5 get in. It was fun. You could tell it was like a little like it was very family friendly. It was very inexpensive to get in. And then after that, like we got to get big. So then we went to Atlanta in August. Following that, oh my
Car
god,
ain't
what a
got no
culture shock!
roof.
I didn't know that was a song until
Shout out to what's his name? Shout out to Car Ain't Got No Roof.
shout out to Gary got his roof. No, but I
Oops.
remember. Yeah, that was our first big convention. It was like I remember when we bought the passes. How much was like $90 for a all weekend pass? But you still drove from out of state to get there. It was like, so you went from like
But
the
that, I mean,
$5
that's part of the fun of
local.
it.
Yeah, that is part of it. But I'm going back to the tier system. We got the small ones, like the first Roanoke Comic Con that we went to, Charlotte. It's family friendly. It's economic. You can get in. It's a fun way to waste a couple hours. And then, oh no, it became an event in Hotlanta because I remember we got there. We had to like take the metro to get our badges, and then there's parties every night that were free to get into. So it wasn't as economically friendly, but it was still a big one.
Instead of being like in a traditional convention center, I remember that one was spread out across like 4 or 5 different hotels, and
Yeah.
that was just wild to
Well,
me. Like
we didn't
they
even get to the artist alley until the Sunday when we were like, oh crap, there's another entire hotel of stuff we missed out on.
Yeah, we missed
Yeah.
because that was being our first big one with celebrities. We did a lot of the panels.
Yeah, and that was our first panel. But I remember we get there, and I think we go to the bottom where they're taking on the photo ops, and we're like, "Look, cast of season 3 of Arrows here." Like Stephen Amell, it's like we can do $80 for individual with them. So we all got our individual photos, and then we did the group photo, and then we're like, panels. What's a panel? So we like stood in that long line of, was it the Marriott, where like it just snakes in and out, and then you're like outside down some steps around the corner. It's hot, and you're like, I don't know if we're gonna get seats. And then when you get in, you're like halfway in the middle of the auditorium, like, wow, we did get seats. So really freaking big.
And panels, just for those of you watching that don't know what it is, it's pretty much like a Q&A slash story time with the actors or writers or whoever you're there to see of your TV show, movie, whatever. It's like a half hour to an hour. Um, Different people, like the cast of Arrow, they did like story time, told stories on set, then opened it up to questions. Versus John Barrowman, he puts on a show for you, and it's like a half hour comedy, dance, singing, and he also opens it up for questions. So it's pretty cool.
But one thing I'll say about John Barrowman, and he admits this, his show is not for kids. So if
It
you're
was
like, we're
definitely not
gonna
for
go see
kids.
him, it's definitely not for kids, and he will tell you that too.
He'll tell you that, and within the first 2 minutes of him talking, you'll start seeing like the dad with the little girl get up and leave, or the mom with the kids get up and start leaving the auditorium.
Yeah. So, but that was, again, I would equate Dragon Con with like the cost, the travel, and all that stuff going on to Awesome Con in DC. Um, is also another big one. I think well, it was Heroes and Villains Fan Fest was very similar to that when that was still around. We went to, well, because that had a
That was
wine
cool while
party.
that lasted.
Yeah, we went to New York, Nashville, Chicago,
Chicago.
Chicago.
um, Chicago. Y'all went to New York, the New York one twice. We partied with Stephen Amell afterwards at his wine party. But like I was just saying, like those tickets were a little more expensive. This is more expensive. And then I think there's a third middle tier, like a big lick, like Tidewater Comic Con out here. It's about 20, $25, maybe $30 to get in. But you have those a good amount of celebrities. Like last year at Tidewater, we had Brandon Routh, John Wesley Shipp, the voice from a voice from Encanto. Um, this past year we had Michael Rosenbaum and the guy who played Superman in that I can't remember his name. But to me, there's just
Tom
three
Welling.
different tiers. Tom
You
Welling.
can't
Well,
win.
I'm sorry.
It's your
Please tell
first.
me
Um,
they did a Tom Welling Brandon Routh duo.
well, Brandon Routh was
We weren't there at the same
2022.
time.
They weren't there at the
Uh,
same time. But I did get to
we
talk
partied
to
with
John
Brandon
Wesley
Routh.
Shipp. And we
We did.
partied with James
It was at
Gunn.
the One Fest, yeah. Sean.
Yeah. We've never went to a convention and not had a good time. The $5 ones, the $25 ones, the 130 ones, the VIP ones where I got to meet Milo Ventimiglia. That was cool. But
Or you got to meet who?
just Milo Ventimiglia, Jack from This Is
Oh.
Us, or Jess from Gilmore Girls, or the Marine brother of that one chick from That's My Boy.
Different tiers don't necessarily mean like different experiences. Like we would for celebrities at Big Lick have the same, down to earth experience conversation with them that we would at like an Awesome Con or a Galaxy Con. It's just the price and the distance is really what makes it seem like it's much more expensive. But unfortunately, I probably shouldn't, but I don't worry about the price on things too much when you're there because you're in the moment, you're in the stuff. You just want the experience. But I mean, you can get the same experience at a big lick that you do at, like I said, a Galaxy Con or an Awesome Con, Dragon Con, because they have panels at Big Lick, they have panels at Dragon Con, they have panels at Awesome Con. It's the same formula, just different amount of people. And if you kind of don't like going to these things because there's like so many people, there are like certain times where you can go like maybe later in the day or very, very early, but like the peak times for most of them ones we went to, I think,
You guys are
what would you
lagging
say,
a
like
little bit on
Saturdays
mine.
between 3?
I'm sorry, he's talking while you talking.
Oh, I like that he froze. He looks like a raccoon too.
He looks like he's taking a.
Back in my day.
I love how he tells us
Huh.
we're lagging and then he freezes.
You can sort of tell like the more expensive ones are going to be in your DCs, your Atlantas, your San Diegos, your New York. Meanwhile, the more $20-$30 ones are like are going to be in like Roanoke or somewhere that not many people have really heard of. So that's easy to tell by location if like one's a place for tourists.
It's in a major capital city. It's definitely going to be more expensive.
All right, guys, that was our experience in GalaxyCon for Raleigh, Big Lick, and a little brief history on our con-going experience. What was the last convention you went to? What celebrity do you want to meet the most? And if you could go to a convention near you, what's the one celebrity you want there? And please like, comment, subscribe. Please tell us those stories. What's a con we should go to? Give us your suggestions because we would love to find the new city to explore. Right, Badger? Right, GL? A couple breweries?
Is correct. And also,
Found a
guys,
few
if you have
alcohol-
any questions, comments, concerns about conventions, what to do, what not to do, like etiquette, stuff to do, while you're at conventions, stuff not to do, send us a DM or comment on below. We'd have no problem answering questions like what's a good deodorant to pack when you go to conventions, because that's one thing, especially one in the summer, you want is a lot of deodorant and hand sanitizer I would recommend. But yeah, stuff like that, we'll answer them.
And also, just a point that I like to say is when people were dressed up in costume, they didn't dress up in costume to not have their photo taken. So they're probably more than likely more than happy to take their photo with you. Or
As
But
long as
always
they're not
ask
trying to use
before
the
you.
bathroom and eating.
Yes.
that too. If they're on the con floor, fair game, say just always ask. Don't assume. Say, hey, do you mind if I get a photo of you? And 10 times, like 10 out of 10 times, they'll strike a pose for you. But anyway, guys, please, if you want to help a bro out, like me, Bat Drew, GL, go to our Teepublic website, buy a nice shirt. It says Just a Bro, Shaka Bro, Bigfoot Bro, all those good ones. Bromingo. But anyway, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Let us know what your favorite con experience is. Until next time, guys. Cheers.